Hey, today is April 22nd.
Okay.
April 22nd, 2015. How old are you guys?
81.
81.
81, right. Okay. So, this is Shiva. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions because we need to get stuff like this captured so we can laugh and smile about it later, you know? I'm not saying y'all won't be here, but your slope is a little steeper than the rest of us, probably. We don't know. We'll see.
Other side of the mountain.
Okay, you guys. Now, let's start off with the brightness, the light, right? What has been the best part of your life? Yeah, they're going to be deep questions. And both of you guys can answer. You don't have to answer everything the same, but if you have something to say, then say it. So what has been the best part of your life?
I think seeing my children and my grandchildren succeed and be happy with their lives.
That's nice.
Uh,
Nice. You got anything to say, Jana, or you want me to go to the next one?
That's happened in my life was when I found Baha'u'llah.
Now that's nice. Good, Granny. Okay, so what about the most challenging part of your life? What's been the most challenging? Now think about this, because you guys are 81, so you got a lot of years to be thinking about. The most challenging.
I felt it was very challenging to raise those children without the presence of the husband in the home.
Okay.
That was most challenging.
Mm-hmm. Got anything to say?
The most challenging has been remaining positive when most of my life has been surrounded with negativity.
Hey, now that's fair, Granddaddy say. So I'm not going to ask you the next question.
What caused all that negativity when it wasn't the kids?
The next question is, what's the secret to a happy marriage? We'll skip that for now.
I think the secret to a happy marriage is having a happy family. And I think we have a very happy family and have a lot to be thankful for.
Okay.
We don't have any drug addiction, no thieves, nobody's in jail, no drug addicts. I mean, I'm so thankful for so many things.
That's nice, Jan. Okay,
I do
great.
it every morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Good, you guys. Okay, so what are some important choices or decisions that you've made that you've learned from? Important decisions or choices that you've made that you've learned from?
I think that one of the most important decisions that I have learned from is after Michael died.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I was going to have to be more positive with my in every aspect of my life,
Mm-hmm.
so that I knew that in the next life I would see Michael again.
That makes me want to burst into tears.
What?
Okay, good Granddaddy. That does. You can't hear me. Okay, what about you, honey?
The most important decision I made was, I think, to stay married, because I think all of our children did well because I didn't have to leave home and work. I was there with the children, and I felt that I was very valuable in the home.
And you were, Granny. Very good. Good. So, what would you say are the major values or principles that you live by? Just list a few. A few of the major values or principles that guide your life.
Truthfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
Love and compassion.
Good, Jan. How about you? Values?
Steadfastness. Compassion.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
I'm trying to think, just not.
That's enough. 2 is enough.
Okay.
I mean, unless you have more.
No.
Okay.
But that wasn't a good word that I'm using, so.
That's okay. You'll get to round this out with your other answers. Who is the person who influenced your life the most? The person that influenced your life the most. One person.
My father.
Because?
Because he was the one who told me about Baha'u'llah.
Okay.
And taught me the oneness of humanity and the oneness of the prophets. All of those things that I learned as a Baha'i, really, he had already prepped me on before.
Okay. How about you? The person who influenced your life the most?
I would say Miss Ziegler.
Okay. Who is that?
She was my music teacher who taught me a diamond is a chunk of coal that stuck to its job.
Good,
And I
Granddaddy.
used that as a thing. But my mother and father, I think influenced, me because they were good people. They had their faults.
Mm-hmm.
But my father, especially working as hard as he did, and my mother always in telling me that these things that we had was because of my father and his work ethic.
Mm-hmm. Nice, Granddaddy. Now, turning the tables a little bit on this, turning to a different chapter. Which new technology, so this is new in your lifetime, this can be any time in your lifetime. Which new technology have you found most helpful in your life? Which new technology have you found most helpful in your life? Anything throughout the years. New technology that you found most helpful.
Television.
Because?
Because it has a lot of very good informative programs that you can learn a lot on. Health shows, history shows, all kind of things. You have so many choices to make, and maybe we don't make the wisest choices always, but there is. You could find every day something good every hour on there.
What about you, Granddaddy? Say?
I would think the newest technology has been the internet, even though I'm not really great at using it.
You do good.
I think that because I found my grandfather and his family.
Oh, yeah?
On,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had always wondered.
Who, Nanny's dad?
I haven't found her father, but I found my father's father.
Oh,
who
I didn't know
died
that.
in 1939. I only had seen him one time.
You knew him, you were 6.
And I didn't know who he was. No one ever said anything about it.
What happened to him?
He evidently worked very hard. He was, his father died when he was less than 9 months old. And he was really had a very difficult existence. And I put some of the stuff that I had heard about my father because he had 3 boys and he had a mother that did not love him. And
who did? The grandfather, you mean?
My grandfather had a mother that did not love him, but he had an uncle who evidently, a half brother who was very close, who influenced our family, coming from Akron, Ohio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't say that much about it because it was kind of a fragmented kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just things that I have, short memories that I have had.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Good, you guys. What about the most annoying technology in your years? Most annoying thing? Technology. The most annoying technology. It's okay if it's nothing.
Probably the internet can be used for such good, but it can also be negative because I think it's taken away the face-to-face conversations we have as families. We text and we do a lot of things that it's just not the same as sitting around that table and discussing day's events and those sort of things. I really feel bad about some of the things that's happened in that direction. That's really, I thought, been very harmful to the family structure.
Most annoying?
The most annoying thing that I have, which I refuse to have to this day, is one of those cell phones.
Because?
And the reason is because if someone wants to talk to me, we can talk either face to face or by phone by leaving a message, and I'll get back to you. But I just refuse to have those a phone clutter up my life with unimportant details.
Just to call and say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think things can be used for good or for bad, and that's just one of them. To me, a cell phone is very important for to get hold of somebody quickly in emergencies and all. We have just misused that cell phone, but yeah, I think it's a very valuable tool.
Okay, good Granny. Now, you guys, ready? Two toughies here. Is there anything you've always wanted to tell me but never have? And you can say me or your family or anything that you ever wanted to tell me but you haven't. Anything you ever wanted to tell me or the family that you never have.
I don't think I missed a thing.
I don't think
they
so
don't
either.
like me because I told them to, because I just don't want you to do those things that I think are harmful.
Okay.
Most people don't want to hear it.
Okay. Nothing.
I don't think there's anything that
I really think sometimes that you have been, in your, especially your younger years, too bossy.
Okay.
But I don't think you're bossy now. I think you're very genuine and respectful to people.
That's nice. But you think when I was younger you didn't tell me I was bossy?
No, you were bossy then. I didn't tell you then.
You didn't?
No, I don't remember. Did I tell you
Absolutely. Everybody told me I was bossy.
I told everybody everything. I don't know. That's why you say people don't like me. Well, I told them everything, I guess.
I did not.
like
Thank you,
She
Granddaddy.
said nobody would live with me.
That's
Granddaddy.
probably
No, they don't
I
like
said-
me then. I
That's
mean,
not
if you
true.
like me, you'd want to live
That's
with me.
not
No, I said you've got to get it together these
All
last
you want
few
me to do
years.
is bring my sewing machine. I figured I'll just go stay with you a month and the next one for a month and
See, she's like her mother.
take
She
my
takes
sewing
a
machine.
bucket of milk and kicks it over.
Granddaddy, what in the world kind of saying is
That's what we used to say about my mom, because she was the sweetest person, but she could do so many things. And then
Grandmother was not a sweet person.
she was.
She
did.
had
would
her
do-
light
and-
blocked by
and-
all that
but
negativity.
I'm telling you,
That's
she-
why we got to let your
But
light
they'd
shine.
always
I
say-
never saw lightness from Grandmother because she was so mean to us.
But your grandmother
I was 4 when she
had
passed.
a very difficult life.
Right.
Because she was living with a man who never supported her, who
Mm.
never took care of his family. He had a lot of ideas which probably were good.
And he didn't like
But
my
he
father,
didn't
but I
take
couldn't
care.
say that about him.
He didn't take care of his family.
His problem was he did not know how to walk the mystical path with practical feet. That was the whole thing in his life.
You guys and you're saying. And you're saying. So she had a tough life. But did you see how he found the good in that, Granny? That was really nice. He made an excuse for the woman who, I never had a positive experience that I can remember with Grandmother, but I was only 4 whenever she passed.
You ask your mom.
Okay, I'll ask my mama.
Ask Mickey. Some of
Okay.
those kind of people who.
Oh, I'm sure she had wonderful
they
parts
saw
of
all
her.
That in her. But if
Yeah.
you did anything that she didn't like, buddy, she'd tell you about it.
And so she was blocking her own light
Yeah,
herself.
She made people not like her.
But that was loving of Granddaddy to say that.
he
that-
didn't like her.
He said that she did have a wonderful, she had things
had a
about her, but she had a really tough,
life.
yeah, she had a tough
You
life.
can't-
Expect somebody to be, this angel on earth whenever they've had a tough life. That was kind. He was sticking up for your mom, who I don't know. The vote's still out on this one.
You better ask your mother. before
That was
you put
nice.
the vote
People
in.
tend
Okay.
to take their lives and they use them in direct comparison into what it should have been.
Right.
All of us have some good characters.
That's right.
and some of us have a lot more than others.
Yep.
But we all have something good that we can learn about us and ourselves.
That's right.
Some bad too.
That's right. And what I heard you say, which is what I tell Miles whenever he's having his moments, is, usually people who hurt others are hurting themselves.
Hurting themselves.
They're hurting themselves, and they take that hurt and try to make others hurt.
I used to come home from the first time I came to Lansing,
Mm-hmm.
and people would tell me, well, Buford, you're not at all what Janet says you are. And then I always wonder, what did she say about me?
He made that story up too.
I did not make that
They
story
didn't
up.
say that to him.
Granny,
Yes, they did.
he wouldn't say
Yes,
that if
they
it wasn't
did.
the truth. So you let him
Yes,
have his
they
truth
did.
and you can have your truth, Granny. But seriously, like, think about that.
And as I grew older, I found out what she said about me that was negative.
And you were not
Everything
okay with
I ever
that.
said about you, I always said to your face.
But
Not
it's
that
not
that
nice
was
to.
It
good.
wasn't necessarily true, but it's how you felt. So therefore,
Okay. Yeah, how you felt. Yeah, you can't help the way that you feel, but still, just shining, patting him on the back, your life partner. Remember? We're in this together. Like, that's what I say. That's what me and Mike talk about is when I start fussing at him, I say, or he says to me, like, let's be on the same team. It's a so much nicer life experience to be on the same team. Like, I'm so competitive and Mike's so competitive, so we will go head to head in some cards. But at the end of the day, we're on the same team. That's important to feel like you have a partner,
I think
not an adversary.
I think we have been mostly on the same team.
Mm,
I do. We wouldn't still be together. We wouldn't have a family all together.
I don't know, Gran. This is just an outsider looking in. But that's good. I'm glad you feel that way. Well, I hope you continue to be on the same team. This is another good question. This is a really good one. Is there anything you regret not having asked your parents? Anything you regret not having asked your parents? Anything you wish you would have asked, that you wish you would have told them, talked to them about?
I almost wish that they had not married each other because they didn't get along that well, I didn't think. And they didn't agree about most things, and it was always conflicting, I thought.
Mm-hmm. You wish you would have said that to them or something?
Well, I don't know that I'd have told them to get a divorce, but I just don't think they were compatible.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have told them that maybe y'all could spend the last years if you went with somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What
Well,
about
my
you? Anything?
parents, and especially as they got older, because they used to have lots of personal conflicts between them.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought about leaving each other many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something that kept them together and let me know that marriage was not always a bed of roses.
Mm-hmm.
That there were difficulties that you were going to go through, but you had to live with whatever it is that you chose
Okay.
and work them out.
Work it out.
And the thing about marriage is that I felt was so strong was that there was commitment. In a marriage, you have to have commitment, or else it won't last. When all else fails, have commitment.
And always keep trying.
Yes.
And keep trying. I think
Yes,
that's,
always keep trying.
Keep
because-
trying to do what's best for your marriage. Not for
I-
yourself, but for what's
I
best for
think
your
that
marriage.
That's something we have done. I think I keep trying.
Good,
Though
Granny.
I know other people don't think I'm
But when
trying,
you're saying
but I
that your
am.
parents
Okay.
never should have married, that's the most negative thing I've ever heard. When you why would you say something like
Because
that?
she just asked me a question. If I had some question, something to
That you
advise
had
my
told your
parents.
parents they should have never
If I'd
married.
had a chance when they were younger, because mother was in love with somebody else, and I think they spoiled that marriage, and I think she would have been happy with somebody else. That's all.
She wouldn't have been happy.
But would
with
you have wanted to
anybody,
say
Janet,
that?
Because she was a negative soul.
I wouldn't after she got grown and had all of us, but it's according to when in her life that this came about. But I don't think she was happy.
That's what I said. Your mother was not a happy soul.
Right. And we should be joyful.
Right.
Right. Try to be joyful. And that's good that you think you're trying. I think you can try. I think you can try harder, Granny. I really do. I really do. Okay. You guys. Now this is, it can be for me. It can be in relation to the family. Whatever. Do you wish anything had been different between us or between the family? Or would you still like to change anything? Is there anything you
In
wish
our-
would have been
in our
different
family?
within our family? Yeah, within our family.
The
Anything
whole-
that
the
you
whole
wish had been
family.
different between us, or individuals. You can, if you have individual examples. Anything you wish had been different between individuals in the family, including myself, or would you still like to change anything?
I think every part of our family is a work in progress. I don't think anything is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if we were perfect, we'd be in heaven, probably dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of us could benefit from our mistakes, and all of us know, because our mistakes have all been different.
Mm-hmm.
As far as choosing different mates, I don't even think one should even go there, because that's something that is not possible, because we all have the mate that we chose.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to do the best that we can do in our circumstances, and make our lives better by dealing with the circumstances that we put ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, personally, I think that the best way for us to live our lives is to follow the teachings that Baha'u'llah has brought. And I don't think we have done a job good enough that's been an example for the rest of the world like we should have been, because we should be leaven of the world. But I do think that the fact that we had the chance to accept or reject is a wonderful thing, and most of us have accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree, we have made changes in accordance, and we have not had some of the problems that plague mankind today, because we don't kill, we don't steal, I don't know anybody in the family that drinks or who's drug addict. Well, I'm not in the Baha'is. I'm talking about.
Just because we're Baha'is does
I
not
didn't-
mean
I-
that
but
we
we
do not
should- we
have
should-
other people in the faith who are not good human beings. So you can't say that.
I'm just saying I would want, if I had my brothers, I'd rather that we all live the life like a Baha'i is supposed to live. He is a true Baha'i who strives by day and night, you know.
And I think that all of us are striving by day and by night, including those who are not Baha'is, are to be better human beings.
But we have the map to go by. That's the thing. Some people don't have that map. and
Maybe
they don't know.
maybe those who you're saying are not Baha'is are more Baha'is than those who
That's
say
true,
they
and that's
are.
sad, because we certainly have the up-to-date map to go by. There's no excuse for us.
Well, one of the maps that we have is that we should always be positive, and all of us do not have that attribute.
Now, Granddaddy, say it. Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's change gears again. What was the happiest moment of your life? That's tough. What was the happiest moment of your life? Happiest. Don't worry, I'll follow up with one that'll let you list all the others.
Happiest.
Or no more than just 2, maybe 3 of the happiest moments of your life. Think about when your heart felt joy,
I had
happiness.
gone to Kentucky to visit my relatives down there when I was living in Richmond, Indiana. And
How old were you?
I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came home, I didn't want to spend that money on the taxi to come to catch a cab.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked through Holly, what was that?
Happy
Hollow was called dark. Oh, it was a dangerous place, but I wanted to save that money, but I remember being afraid. And when I got home, it was like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and the happiest moment in my life when that door opened and I saw my mom. It was the
Oh.
first time that I felt as close to her as I did, because she was very difficult sometimes. But I felt such love for her at that moment, because I'd been gone for like a month, the longest I'd been separated from her.
Mm-hmm.
That was I visibly remember feeling the happiest. at
That's
that
nice,
moment.
Granny. That's nice. What about you, Buf?
I'm having a really hard time when you see the happiest.
I know.
The happiest time that I have ever.
Moment of your life.
Moment of
Happiest moment of your life.
joy.
You want to come back to it?
Yeah, I want to come back to that
Okay.
because
This might get you to
I'll
think
tell
of a
you
few things.
something.
Okay.
My life ain't been like my mother said. My life ain't been no crystal staircase.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been so blessed
Mm-hmm.
all my life
Yep.
from all the people who have loved me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, there are so many souls. I think of Aunt Bubba and Uncle Mason,
Mm-hmm.
who were such good people. My
Mm-hmm.
parents were good people. And they showed me happiness and
Mm-hmm.
joy. Mr. Chrisman, my grandmother, so many people have blessed me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been blessed my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So I've
Fair
had
enough.
my share of unhappiness,
Mm-hmm.
but I've had so much more happiness.
Mm-hmm. That's a good scale to be swinging the other way, ain't it? Okay, what are you most proud of? What are you most proud of? Uh-oh, somebody's calling you. We're going to ignore it, Granny. We're in the middle of an interview. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll ask Buf. Go ahead. You can get it if you want to.
My children.
What are your children? Are what you're most proud of?
I would say my
I'm
children,
most
my
proud of my
grandchildren.
children.
That's nice.
That's the hardest thing.
All of our children and your children's, generation, and all of them, it just makes me so proud.
Can you believe all the wonderful things that have come from y'all?
Yeah,
And then y'all's y'all? And then
I know,
y'all's
that's the
y'all?
thing. It amazes me. I know.
We're so blessed.
I am
Yeah.
just so
We're
blessed
just so
with
blessed.
having children that really have been so respectful.
And their grandchildren and great
And loving to
and look
me.
at my great grandchildren.
All 10,000 of them. Good, you guys. Well, it's okay that your phone rang because the next one was kind of for Granddaddy anyway, which is, how did your experience in the military mold you as a person? How long were you in the military?
2 years.
2 years. How did that mold you as a person?
I think it helped me to grow up because I think prior to going to the Army, I really had been sheltered by my parents
Mm-hmm.
and had been given everything. And I had to,
Work.
when you go into the Army, you have to do it all on your own. You don't have anybody
Mm-hmm.
that is around you. And I think that helped me to develop into a man.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are your earliest memories? What is your earliest memory?
That's
And how old were you?
When you were a child,
Yep. In life, what's your earliest memory?
I remember I lived in Kentucky,
Mhm.
and I remembered how close that community was, how we should have unity in the community and everybody taking responsibility for each other.
How old were you?
I was 7 years old when I left there.
Mhm.
So my first 7 years was beautiful. We didn't have any luxuries. I mean, no electricity, no inside jobs, nothing that would make life easier for you that think you have to have all that. You don't have to have all that. I don't remember anybody having any unhappiness down there when I was a kid. Now, maybe it's because I was too young to see it, but all I knew was that I respected everybody and they respected me.
Mm-hmm.
And we were happy doing the things that we made fun for ourselves. We were creative.
You don't know how old you were. You just remember that life, the feeling of that life. It wasn't like you remember when your mom gave you
I
a big
remember
hug.
Mama reading this story. She used to read out of a book called Remarkable Answers to Prayer. I'll never forget that.
Huh.
And there was some stories in it just make tears flow. You know, some
Was it a
poems.
Christian book?
Huh?
Was it a Christian book?
Yeah,
Probably.
it was.
Uh-huh.
But she read those stories
Yeah.
to us, and that meant a lot to me. I'll never forget those big Sunday dinners when everybody would bring a big pot and come down to the church and we'd eat together.
Hmm.
And it was really a wonderful life there.
Nice, Granny. What about you, Granddaddy? Your earliest memory?
The earliest memory that I have was I have always had a wonderful childhood, but I don't remember at what age
The specifics.
it was. And I think it was that we were never poor in spirit. We didn't have any money because everybody was born during the Depression. But I remember that we were always happy. I don't remember being deprived of anything.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good feeling. Did you guys receive an allowance when you were little? No? Granddaddy,
Yeah,
you
I
did.
received
How
an
much? Do
allowance.
you remember how
My
much?
first allowance was 10 cents a week.
And did you
And-
save your money or did you spend it?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember that when
10
I
cents
got
a
my
week.
first, I used to water Aunt Love and Uncle Mason's hedges on Eliza Street. And I used to go every day after school and water their hedges. And I got 10 cents a week for doing that.
Oh, for the whole week.
And they bought me a bicycle.
Wow.
And I had this bicycle and I lost it. And I came back home and I was crying and I was saying that I lost my bicycle. And they said, "You don't have a bicycle." And I thought, in my mind, I thought I had this bicycle. But I never had one because Mom and Daddy were afraid that if I had a bicycle, I'd get killed. And
Yeah.
they never bought me a bicycle.
Yeah.
So I never had one. In my mind,
You
I had this bicycle.
That made me remember. I never got an allowance, but I did get money from Daddy by doing things like singing. I remember he'd always want me to sing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine," and he'd give me a nickel.
Oh, that's
So those
nice.
are little things that Daddy would give me money every
Yeah.
chance he'd get. But
Yeah.
Mama, no, she never gave you anything. She wasn't going to give you allowance. And I used to wash dishes when we moved out of the country up to Richmond. I used to wash dishes for 10 cents a week for somebody, and I finally made enough to buy me for Christmas. I wanted this doll that you have those pretty, what you call those dolls?
Porcelain?
The dolls that
Porcelain
you
doll.
make clothes for. You know,
Oh.
they got all these different
Barbies.
Oh, Barbie.
Barbie doll.
Uh-huh.
And I bought my Barbie doll with my money I made with that. And Gladys and I went down the alley and found a Christmas tree the night before Christmas that they had put out, and we brought it home. So we had a Christmas tree and I had my dolly.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
I
nice.
remember also that you asked me what I did with my money.
Yeah.
I bought a Mom and Daddy for Christmas that Newman had that is in David's bedroom.
It's a lamp.
The lamp,
Okay.
and I made 35 cents a day working for that. And I took that money and went to Kay's jewelry store, and I bought that lamp, and I still
That's
have it.
nice. That's nice.
It's in the
And
guest
it's
room.
in the guest room.
That's nice. What
And
kind of
my
lamp did you
mother
say?
loved
What
that
lamp?
She
That
just-
Newman had.
that
an
Newman, the
African
black, the
with the
black
red turban on
with
it.
the red turban.
You're kidding.
And it took me a whole year to
That's sad.
and I gave it to him for Christmas.
Who's getting that whenever you're on the other side? We got to keep that in
I
the
don't think
family.
anybody wants it.
Yeah, you gotta keep that in.
Yeah, but with this story, they're going to
That
want
story, they
it.
might
That's
want
right.
it,
They might
yeah.
want it. Good. Oh, that's nice, Granny. Your hardworking stuff. That's nice. Good, great.
Wait a minute, it was 35 cents an hour that I bought
That you made.
Yeah, it was 35 cents an hour that I made because I used to work cleaning people's windows and cleaning their houses.
Isn't that something? Okay. What was your favorite thing to do for fun? The movies, go to the beach? I don't know. When you were little.
We used to have a place going to the skating rink when I got to be teenagers, but and that's what we did. But we used
Skating.
to have a place called the Eat Shop,
Uh-huh.
which where all the teenagers hung out, and that was a place for us to go, all black kids to go, which was fun.
When I was in Kentucky for the first 7 years, we had a farm, and my favorite thing was to go play with the little baby piglets and the little baby chickens and anything to do with little animals. And I remember a sheep I had, and its mama died or something, and I took it to the room and I put the bottle of milk on the place where it could stay warm, where the hearth, the Children came up and it must have clabbered or something. I fed it to that sheep and it was dead in the morning. That hurt my heart.
What do you mean? Why did it die?
I guess it was the milk was sour.
It was too hot? Oh, it was sour.
It was too sour, I guess.
Oh.
But anyway, I love to climb trees and find birds in the nest and all these kind of things. I was a scavenger for animals, any kind of animal. I love dogs and cats.
Nice, Granny. That's nice. What was school like as a child? What were some of your favorite subjects, some sports activities that you participated in? What was school like?
My first 7 years was in Kentucky and only had the kindergarten and first grade. And it was horrible. The school was a room that wasn't as big as this one, and the 8th grade was taught in this one room. And there was a teacher that only had a 8th grade education that was all black. And I remember every day hating the school to end because we'd have to go home, and the white kids had a better school. It was on the other end of that little village, and we'd pass and have to hear them call us names. It was horrible down in Kentucky. Ku Klux Klan came and burned my dad's shed up where he had his chickens and whatever. There was a lot of
when was
racial
that?
things.
What'd they do that for? Because you guys were black living in a white area?
Yeah, he had built this house for Mom. Mama wouldn't go back. She didn't want to take her kids back to that. And so this this white lady had 4 children, and her husband was in a mental institution, and she was flooded out, and she didn't have a house. So Daddy let her move into this house, and he moved into separated his chicken house, so he had a room in there. But they thought there was some hanky-panky, I think, going on or something, because the Ku Klux came and burned him out. But he escaped.
Burned him or burned her house? Just the chicken coop?
They were trying. They didn't care. They wanted to get him too, but he had heard him coming. He fled into the field where he had all this high tobacco and corn, so they couldn't find him.
How old were you when that happened?
That was after I had left at 7. He went back trying to get us to go back. I must have been about 10 when that happened. But he always taught us, don't hate anybody, always love. Those people just didn't know any better.
What about you for school? How was school for you? Best subjects?
School from kindergarten all the way through high school. I was named the first black to have received the highest award the school could give by being voted by the faculty and the kids at school, and and they gave me that award, and then they also gave me an award later on, just a couple years ago, when they named me the outstanding classmate for my class of 1951.
Nice.
So I had a wonderful life.
I didn't. I had it in one respect, but another way I felt less than.
By who?
When I moved out of the country, I was behind in school. I couldn't speak properly. Everybody laughed at me. I didn't have the proper clothing. I didn't have any social graces. So it took me a long time before I began to gain any. In fact, I still had such an inferiority complex about that, about my looks and about my intelligence.
What about your looks and intelligence? Were you at a white school then, or still black
When
school?
When we came up to Richmond, it was all white. Maybe there would be 2 blacks in a class, and you still felt some prejudice, but it wasn't like in Kentucky.
Well, I have never felt less than, and it was one thing that my mother told me from the very beginning of my life. Do not ever let anyone define who you are. Be true to yourself.
I asked you guys this before.
Never had any problem.
I asked you guys this before too, though, about your deepest experience with racism in America growing up. What was it? The Ku Klux Klan with your dad? You guys said that people otherwise were. You weren't.
My deepest experience with racism was when we left Kentucky. I became friends with this little white girl that lived 3 doors down from me. We became so close that we were inseparable. But when I turned 12. Her mother told her she couldn't be my friend anymore because when you went to junior high school, that's when the social whatever climate changed, and the blacks and whites did not mix at all. And I think they were afraid that you might, fall in love. I don't know what it was in those days that kept them separate, but that hurt me to my heart. And that girl never did do well after that. She ended up getting married, having babies and everything. I think she quit school in the 10th grade. And so, but the mother, they all liked me and everything fine until till that 7th grade.
What about you, Granddaddy? Did you have your deepest experience with racism?
I really have never had an experience of
That's amazing.
Blatant racism.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was much lighter than I am now, and a lot of people really didn't know who.
Yeah, I think that was.
So I can't say that I
people thought you weren't.
I was one of what
they didn't know. They didn't know.
I was one of what they call a privileged black. And so I didn't have. I just was. It just never occurred. I didn't have anything. And in Fort Wayne, when I was growing up, we didn't differentiate between blacks and whites. Like I said, I had just as many black friends as I did white friends growing up.
Yep, that's great.
But
that's great and surprising and amazing.
In Kentucky, I had my best little girlfriend across the road was white. So my first 2 best friends were white, with all that prejudice that was prevalent in those days.
Kids didn't know, right?
Well, I didn't. But see, the thing about it is that it probably was existing to some people, but I did not. I had just as many black friends as I did white friends.
You didn't experience it firsthand.
And there was just no difference. They were friends.
Good, Granddaddy. That's great. Okay, 2 more questions.
That's your mother, because she went to that
elementary school
when they honored me, and she said she had never seen, because these people were in their 80s, and she said she had never seen that many people who were classmates at that time that were that nice of people, and that's the way they were. Everybody was that way.
That's nice. Fortunate. Good, Granddaddy.
Yeah, so I was fortunate.
What world events have had the most impact on you guys? World events, things that happened around the world, the U.S. What world events have had the most impact on you?
Well, I think World War II had a very serious impact.
How?
I know that we were taught, because prejudice is taught. And I had a very serious problem with Japanese people. Because we were told as little kids, we were taught to hate Japanese people. That was an American propaganda. And then when I went went away to school, and I saw people who were Oriental, and that prejudice, kind of drifted apart. Because I realized it was a taught thing. You didn't.
I felt that too was one of the most difficult times. But I think when Rodney King, I don't know, he was beat up by the police and everything, and that caused riots. Riots spread all across the nation. And I remember even in our neighborhood, after you passed that one road, Logan Street, the blacks were turning over cars. If there was anybody white, they would just, they couldn't pass that line. All of that was very difficult for me.
That was in Lansing,
Michigan. I know it was, but
we weren't even living in Lansing then, so you don't know that.
That was when in 1963. When was that? When Rodney King? That was when.
That was in the 80s.
No, the 90s.
Yeah, 90s?
90s.
It was 1960 something.
No, it wasn't.
For Rodney King?
Not Rodney King, Janet.
That was in the 90s.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll look it up while we're talking.
Yeah.
But yeah,
anyway,
the 90s.
That to me was the most, because I think there was more violence and more black people were doing it. But what was that occasion when they came to
It must be
to
talking
Lansing?
about that time that it was was in. They had that riot in Detroit.
Well, they had a
In
riot in
Chicago.
Lansing, I'm telling
Chicago.
you. I remember that. We lived right up the street, about 2 blocks away from where all that was happening. I don't know what that...
You're
Yeah.
talking about when John Kennedy was president. That
No.
was in the
Oh, you
60s.
know what
You
it
mean
was?
JFK?
I don't know.
Rodney King was 1991.
It was when,
91.
Rodney King was in
when
the
Nine-
80s.
King.
91.
When the king got killed.
Martin
That
Luther
was
King?
Martin Luther King. Wasn't that when they had that riot again
That
in
was in
Lansing?
60. That was
That must have
68.
been-
68 was
Yeah,
Martin Luther
that
King.
was the one that,
68.
that I remembered so well because it was so close to home.
So close to home, what, proximity? Or you mean
Proximity.
Emotionally.
I mean, it's all over. All over the place. There was more rioting. That black and
Oh,
white
the
thing has
rioting.
always been a problem, but every time it flares up, just like now today, you see all these things happening, and it's kind of scary. It might be another highlight of our distressful situation here.
So world events, Rodney King beating, Martin Luther King, Jr.'s assassination, World War II. Okay. Okay. All right, guys, last one, unless there's anything else you'd like to share. How would you like to be remembered? And this can be to whoever you choose your audience to be. How would you like to be remembered?
Well, I guess I would like to be remembered as a worthwhile human being that brought more joy than sorrow, that I had footsteps that led in the right direction for people to guide, that guided them in the right way, hopefully. And I think maybe sometimes in my desire to do that, I've maybe made some people not feel like I'm going the right direction, but I felt all along. And that Psalm of Life is one of my favorite poems because it tells you to, that particular sentence is in there. Footprints in the sands of time, footprints that perhaps another sailing o'er life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother seeing shall take heart again. So let us then be up and doing with heart for any faith, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait.
Nice, Granny.
I'd like to be remembered as someone a father who cared and did the best that he could do under the circumstances, and that when this life was over, he would just, like Thanatopsis, pull the drapings of his couch about him and lie
So
down
that when
to
thy
pleasant
summons
dreams.
comes to join that innumerable caravan that moves to that mysterious realm, thou go not like a quarry slave at night, scourged to his dungeon, but sustained and soothed by unfaltering trust. Approach thy grave,
Like one who draws the wrappings of his couch about him and lies down to pleasant dreams.
How in the world do you guys know that? What is that? Who is that?
Thanatopsis. We had to learn that in school.
Wow. You guys are pretty something else. Okay, great.
Well,
Now,
I'm so
we're going to
glad-
watch this for money.
I'm so glad we had this time together.
I'm so glad we had this time.
Everybody is going to be so
together.
happy to have these snapshots of you guys
Well,
because Granddaddy put us through a scare last year.
What's the worst thing that we can do
What's the worst thing you can do?
in this life?
What do we think, or what do you think? Okay,
Well, I
what's
think
the worst thing
we
you
have
can do?
been wasteful. We
Oh,
waste
Lord.
our talent. We waste our time. We
No.
waste so much that I think it's important for us. Whatever we can do that thing.
And
Granny.
you say those things that are beneficial. Not
Yeah, I was
in
ending-
the cloud of darkness.
That's right.
Of what?
You couldn't wait to get out a question. That was what's the worst.
The worst
We just
thing,
ended
to
with a
waste
lovely,
anything. That quote from one of the colleges, and a mind is a terrible thing to waste. That to me is it's important. We have a mind, and we have to use it.
I will not
Dwell
dwell
on the
on the unpleasant
pleasant things in
of
life. I will be
I
a
will
happy and joyful being.
joyful being.
Yep, that's right. Very good, you guys. Now look at that. Isn't that perfect timing? I just finished my questions and now your grandson, Logan Bowe, named after Granddaddy say, is waking up.
Okay,
Yep,
goodbye.
that's him. Oh, you can't even. Granddaddy can't even hear him. Bless his heart. Okay, love you guys.
Love you too, darling.
So long, farewell, Avita. Okay. And you, and you, and you, and you. Okay. Love you guys.